What's up guys, Dan here, Coalcracker. So the beginning of that video I was trying to be scary, probably not too scary, and the reason I was trying to be scary is because this axe right here is going to be scary sharp in a few minutes. Yeah, that's right. So as you might know, if you follow this channel, there are different ways that you can sharpen an axe. One of my favorite ways to sharpen an axe is with a very simple tool called a sharpening stone. And that, my friends, is going to look something like this. This one specific that we sell has a diamond side, and then it also has a ceramic side here, which I think is very simple and very easy to use. Now, these things come in all different shapes and sizes. You might have seen pucks or bigger bench style stones. I like the smaller ones because we can just hold them, look down the blade, and work back and forth like that. Again, lots of videos I did on that in the past. That will get your tool very sharp. But if your tool is already dull, okay, one thing that you can do is you can take a file, okay, and you can work your axe edge with a file. Again, lots of videos on that on this channel. This is going to be for really profiling and taking chips and like dings or little bends out of that axe bit, okay? And then we usually switch back over to stone and we're good to go. Now, most of the time, the stone is gonna get you sharp enough. That is like what you need as a woodsman or a woods lady to do all the tasks that we like to do. But sometimes with smaller axes like this, maybe even one of your larger axes, you just need it a little bit sharper. Maybe it's your carving axe, or you're like, it is time to take this to a point that this thing is so sharp that just looking at it, it's cutting atoms in the air. And that's what we're gonna look at today. Just another method, another technique that maybe you wanna try to employ in one of your edge tools. This is gonna work really good on chisels and things like that, especially if you get into like more wood crafting for long-term camping and you're building things out in the woods, benches and sawbucks and shave horses. This is a great option. Now, for this method, you're going to need a few things. First, you're gonna need a drywall sanding block. So you can see right here, this one, Home Depot, they're like 10 bucks maybe. And what these have on them, I'll pull this apart right here, is a foam pad, okay? And that foam is gonna aid in getting this super, super sharp. And then you're gonna need some sandpaper. So you're gonna want wet, dry sandpaper specifically for metal, okay? That's gonna work best. I'm dropping it all over the place here. Now, you could buy this in different like formats per se. So you can buy bigger sheets. The thinner sheets here, like I have, that's usually what I buy for most of my work. They don't fit on a sanding block all that well, at least my sanding block. So I just use a piece of tape on the bottom, which gets me through, and it's fine, right? This doesn't have to be something over the top. If you're gonna do it all the time, maybe find a smaller sanding block or get bigger sheets, but that's gonna require some tape also. Now, before we get started with this method, you have to realize that this is going to be like a final step, okay? Even before you're going to do anything else, you want to make sure that your axe or your knife is very, very sharp. So that might require, say this thing was dull and we were like messing around and we put a ding in this. We might have to file it first and then go to our stone, and when we're done our stone, we're gonna switch over to this thing. So as far as the grit of the sandpaper goes with this, to me, I found like around 600, 800, 1,000 works the absolute best, okay, for this method. So you would start after this is already quite sharp, put on your 600 grit, and then you're gonna just do the following. You're gonna take this and you're gonna work in a motion forward and across. So if you could see my bit here, I'm just gonna come across, just working it like that, working the whole edge, straight across. And really quickly, okay, what you're gonna notice, I'll show you on this other side, is you're gonna see it's starting to polish it up already, and that's ultimately what we're looking for. And this is gonna get this thing so sharp, it's gonna be insane. So if you look at this up close, and you see what that edge looks like, I'm gonna take this sandpaper right now, and I'm just gonna run this over a few times. And you're gonna be able to see it's gonna start to shine up that edge and that bevel really nicely. And then of course I would just work up a little bit higher as we go. So if you start to look at that now, we're starting to get a very polished look to that, and that's ultimately what we're wanting when we do this method, okay? So we continue to work this up. Now, if you start to do this method and you realize as you remove material, maybe just the tip and back on the bevel is starting to get like shiny and the middle is still looking dull, that means that we have a little bit of a cup in there. So what we'd want to do at that point, just stop doing this, go back to the stone or maybe even a file if it's really bad and work that out. We want to get rid of that. We don't want that little bit of a cup in there, which might happen depending on the maker, how they actually finished off the bevel on this axe. But in our case, we're working well. So we would just continue this process on each side, flipping our axe over, and then working it on this side. What this sanding block is doing, because of the foam, it's giving a little bit. Not a lot, but just enough to actually contour with that bevel and keep that sandpaper just flowing right across that metal and contouring perfectly. Whereas a stone is very hard. So if there's any bumps or there's small grooves, it's not gonna contour as well as this. And that's why this gets so sharp. And I can tell you already, we're at 800 already. This thing is like, it's like a razor, hair pop and sharp, and we're still gonna take it to 1,000. And then if you wanna take it even one step further, is cut yourself a piece of leather and put that onto your block itself, and then continue this the same as you would strop this axe. So now me personally, although this is a great step, and I know a lot of people that I've talked to really like this step, this is not one of my favorites. I like to go up to about 1,000 grit sandpaper, and then what I will do is this, I will progressively go lighter and lighter and lighter with the pressure I apply, and that seems to work even better for me than this. So definitely an option, but Dan's favorite option is going to that 1,000 grit and just staying real light to the point that by the end I'm literally like, it's just the weight of the tool sliding across that. When you complete this now, it's going to take some time. Okay, so on a day like today, the weather was absolutely horrible out. It was cold, foggy, rainy. Then it was like freezing rain into like ice, back to rain and some snow, and then it was just the like wet snow on. It's a day you want to just beat the shop. So doing something like this is going to be a fun day. It's going to get your tools tip top. Just be careful you don't slice your fingers and arms off, because this thing is going to just be absolutely a beast when you're done with it. So hey, another method, another tool for the toolbox. Very inexpensive to get into. If you never sharpen anything and you're nervous about it, start with an old knife or start with an old axe and give it a go. It's really not that hard of a process. It's just to learn the feel of it and the technique of it and the angle, and just have a good time with it. At the end of the day, it's fun, and anything can be fixed and repaired. Worst case scenario, you get one of your friends that know how to do it to fix it up after the fact. But I trust all of you. I know you can do it. So give it a shot. And what I also need you to do is hit like and subscribe down below, and also check us out over at Coalcracker, Bushcraft.com for all our classes, our gear, on our blog. And until the next video, stay in the woods, or stay in the shop at least doing wood stuff. How about that one today?